set up the login and registration form. First of all, let's start out with making this an async function. And actually, let's do a try and catch. So if you go in here and do that, what this does is it basically gets the CSRF cookies and it then sets in browser. So that's before we log in, let's just try that. So what we want to do is we want to just serve this, and this is running on port 8000, perfect. And then we just run npm run def, perfect. And while this is compiling, let's just go ahead and take a look. So what this does is it sets 2 cookies, and we're gonna take a look at that now. So if we go and click sign in, doesn't really matter what information we do. We can just click sign in, just want to have the network request here. Okay, so we need to make sure that it also, of course, just add v on. We can actually just do add click. Perfect. So now if we click sign in, go into network, you can see here we are setting some cookies. So what should happen now is inside our application we should have some cookies set here. Let's just go in and delete all of them, and we get them set. Perfect. So what we want to do now is we want to sign the user in. So to do that, we actually just need to run this file. By doing this, we can then say this.router.replace. So we can go into a new router, but we want to just first of all get something straight here. So we call the Axios, and make sure to have the $sign here, and then just otherwise just have login with, and then we just take the information from this form here, pass it through. If it fails, we'll go over here, and we can basically just go in here and say errors, and then just let this be equal to null. So in that case, we want to say this.errors equals could not sign you in with those credentials. You might do something different with the error message, but what we want to do then is we want to say name, and then we want to say, or we can actually just put this to the home page like this. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to, first of all, we want to go into our view, and I would highly recommend you to get this. You can easily get this in the developer store, and you can go in here, and then let's see what happens to our error message here. Perfect. So what we want to do now is we want to display this up in the top here. So we can go up here, and then we can say be message, or we can actually say be notification, I think it's called. And we can say v if errors, and then we want to say type is danger, and then we want to go in here and just put in errors like this. So now we can close this, but if we now sign in, let's see what happens. So what should happen now is we are not signed in, and the reason why is because we cannot be signed in with that credential, and that's because we haven't basically created the user yet. So what we want to do now is we want to make sure that you actually also can sign up. So in here, let's go ahead and make this an asynchronous function too, and let's go ahead and add to click to, just like that. And then we want to go in, we want to copy and paste all of this, change this to just let it be like that for now. And then we want to, before we sign the user in, we want to actually register the user. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to say post dash API dash register. Just want to make sure we have that route registered inside our routes here. Perfect. And then what we just want to do in the sign up here is we want to go in and we want to grab the form and we want to sign the user up. So if we now go in, click on the sign up page, and let's just change this password to I love cats. And we also want to know why it doesn't call the, because I think we need to remove the dollar there. Because we need to say this to the Axios, obviously, like this. And we get some information returned. So what we want to do here is, case of validation, we want to make this variable. So let's call this register, and then we want to check if we actually get registered. And then we want to say if register, and then we want to say success equals true. So what we can do now is we can go inside our register controller. In here, we want to basically just return some response. And we want to say success. And if it fails, we want to say now just console.log, and we just want to say register. Perfect. So what we want to do now is we want to see here that it fails. Okay. If it fails, we want to go in and say else, return response, and then we want to say success false, and then we want to say validate, and we want to call this validate. And then we want to basically return a status code of 200 so we can print this out. Okay, so let's just try this out. Otherwise we will look at the validation in another video. yeah, we will just look at this in another video. So for now, let's just look at this in another video with the validation and register page. But yeah, well, I mean, the most important thing is literally just to sign the user in here and sign the user up. So let's go in and do that here. And then let's go in network. Just gonna open up so it's a bit more clear. Okay, so we need to pass through the data. Instead, we need to pass it through like this. And then there's a name, is this dot name, and then we have email is this dot email, and then okay, let's look at like how I do it in this project here. I'm using this project as because I'm doing the same way, so can literally just go in and copy and paste this. And again, because the reason why this fails is because we are obviously doing with login with, so let's just go in here and say this.form. Let's go in like data this.form, go and remove this, remove that here, and then like this. Okay, so what we're just putting is the dollar here, and then we are adding information there, and then, well, if we go in now, you will see that the email field is signed in. So now we can actually go in and create the user. Sorry for all the mess there. Now we are signed in. So what should happen now is in Vuex, we have a user object. It basically allows us to see that we're logged in here. We have the information, the ID of the user, checking if you're an admin, which is false. And we can then go in here and see that we have a token. So we have the token if we just refresh here. So like we have the social network session, the X-CSRF token, stuff like that. So now we can go in, delete this, and go in view. And we are not signed in. So now if you want to go in and check, you can just sign in here. We're signed in. So what we want to do now is in our navigation, so we want to basically just add in the signed in and start with that now. So what we want to do here is we want to basically just use the template here and say if, and then we want to call this out function here, and then we want to down here we want to say else. So obviously this will return an error because right now we doesn't have any information. So what we want to do now is we want to grab this information. So let's do like this, and just to make this easy, I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna go and take it from down here, and then we can just copy and paste this getter here. And what this does is we can just go in and import this getter from Vue. And then we can go up. So actually, no, wait, we can actually call the X. Forget about that. So we can actually do something completely different, because Vue nuxt.js have its own auth model built in. So what we can say is $auth login. So as you remember here, we have the login. So we just want to call that variable here. So we want to say auth.login equals false. Alright, and then if we now go in again, just to test this is working, we can now see the link, but if we click sign in, we see nothing. Well, and what we can do here to basically avoid that is we can go in here and basically say label auth.name and then we can go in here, just see why this won't work. So let's say vf auth.login. This is true. And then let's just go into the buefy documentation and get the correct one. So what we can do here is we can go inside the navbar, and in here we can get the drop down. So we can get drop down from info. So let's find the one where it says info. And then we also want to add in here slot end. Perfect. And now we can go in and add in the information. All right. So we need to say after user.name like this. And what we can do now is we can actually go inside the Bulma documentation, because buefy is built on Bulma, and let's look for that here. So let's go in here. So we want to find the navbar divider, so we can go inside here, inside layout, I think it should be, or inside components right here. So in here we have the navbar one, and then let's just search for divider. Alright, then we want to put it in here. And then we also want to say click, then we want to say sign out. This is fairly simple to do, so instead of having to go in and sign out from the browser, we just want to call this function here. And again, just copy and pasting, because there's no reason for me to type it in, because it's just fairly quickly to type. like this, and then we can just call the name index here, or we can just say dash. So let's go in here and replace this with name index, just to keep a bit of structure in here. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to just see that we really signed out here. We want to sign in again. And that's it. So now we have an authentication system. We're going to look at the validation in a different video. We have a functional authentication system built up, and it's very easy to use. It's very easy to set up. We have access to the user properties from the UX stores, and we are, as you can see, the thing is that nuxt.js are just basically calling this function here that's used in the API section. So in here we set up our strategies for that, so it knows already where to call that information, and it then for us it stores it in the VueJS store. It calls in the cookies for the X-CSRF authentication system, and that allows us to have a secure system. And what we can then do in the next video is we can look at how to create our first post. Now, creating our first post is going to be a very long way, because we are going to have to pass through a lot of things. We are first of all going to start out by just creating a simple post, and then later on we're going to add in more variables to it, so we can see what users can see the post only, like should it be public, stuff like that. So we're basically going to look into all of these functions later on, but in the beginning our goal is just to create a post and have a dedicated user profile page for each user. So what we want to do is we want to go in something like pages here, and then we want to go in and create a profile, for example. And then you can go in and, for example, say dash ID to view, and then we can actually call a param here, the user ID, and display the user. You could also go in and do something like slug, something like that. All of that we're going to look into in the next few videos, so see you in the next video.